If you've got leftover lechon, this is the upgrade it deserves. For years, our go-to dish for leftover lechon has always been Lechon Paksiw. And while it'll always be a classic, sometimes you want something bolder. Something that requires taking that leap for flavor. Today we're making Lechon Sisig. Crispy bits of lechon tossed in a rich savory sauce. Brightened with calamansi, finished with just the right amount of heat. Crunchy, creamy, tangy, and perfect with a steaming cup of rice. Or for Pulutan. It's extremely simple to make, uses simple ingredients, and yet it's packed with flavor. If you're ready to turn that holiday lechon into something special, let's start. In this recipe, I'll be using around 800 grams of leftover lechon belly. Chop the lechon into sisig-sized pieces. I recommend using a cleaver or a heavier knife for this step, but as you can see, a regular kitchen knife works just fine. Lechon is a staple in almost every Filipino celebration, from fiestas to birthdays to holidays, so leftovers are pretty much guaranteed. And this is one of the best ways to give them new life. Before we move on, at the end of the video, I'll show you the complete list of ingredients along with their approximate cost. If you want to skip straight to that, the timestamp is already in the description. After chopping the pork, set it aside. Then let's prepare our aromatics. Next, dice 4 to 5 medium-sized red onions, about 180 to 200 grams total. Try to keep the pieces fairly uniform so they cook evenly. If onions aren't your thing, you can swap part of it with shallots, spring onions, or even white onions for a milder taste. But if you're looking for the traditional sisig flavor, red onions work best. They add a bit of sweetness and a gentle bite that balances the richness of the lechon. Next, mince around 8 cloves of garlic. Remove the root end, then lightly smash the garlic. This makes the skin much easier to peel and saves you some time. You can definitely adjust the amount of garlic depending on how strong you want the garlic flavor in your sisig. This really comes down to personal preference. Personally, I like mine extra garlicky, especially since lechon is rich, so I tend to be generous here. Try to keep the garlic pieces fairly even so they cook evenly and don't burn too fast once they hit the pan. Next, chop around 6 to 7 pieces of siling haba, also known as long red or green chilies. Adjust the amount depending on your spice tolerance and also on the size and variety of chilies you're using. If you prefer a spicier sisig, you can swap some or all of this with siling labuyo. I'm using a mix of red and green chilies here, mainly for a nicer color contrast, but feel free to change it up based on what you have. Next, wrap around 12 pieces of calamansi. Save a few for garnishing later. Cut off the tops, then squeeze the juice through a strainer to keep the seeds out and get a cleaner calamansi juice. If calamansi isn't available in your area, calamansi extract or a mix of lemon or lime works just as well. As always, you can adjust the amount depending on how tangy you like your sisig. When you're done squeezing all the calamansi juice, one life hack you can do is to save the calamansi rinds. I once saw online that you can use them as an air freshener. Or if you're a normal person, another life hack that works really well for me is throwing it in the trash. Next, heat up a non-stick or stainless steel pan over medium heat. Then, add a splash of cooking oil. If your lechon is on the fattier side, you can skip the oil and render the pork fat first by adding the lechon before the aromatics. Once the oil in the pan are hot, start by sauteing your garlic until slightly brown or until it's nice and fragrant. This brings out its sweetness and aroma. Next, add the onions, but save some for garnishing later. The contrast between cooked and fresh onions adds another layer of flavor and texture to the dish. Some people even like to keep all the onions raw for a sharper bite. If you want to follow that route, you can do so if you please. Next, add a can or about 85 grams of chicken liver spread. If you have the time and want a more authentic take, you can use fresh chicken livers. Grill them over hot charcoal and fry them and mash into a thick paste. But for simplicity and convenience, chicken liver spread works perfectly. Sauté the liver spread together with the garlic and onions until fragrant and well combined. This adds that rich, savory depth that gives sisig its signature flavor. Next, add the chopped lechon into the pan and mix it well. Cook it over medium to high heat, stirring occasionally until the edges start to crisp up and the pork is heated through. You want it crispy on the outside but still juicy inside, which gives the sisig that perfect texture and bite. Next, add some freshly ground black pepper, about a teaspoon or adjust to your liking. This brings a subtle heat and sharpness that cuts through the richness of the lechon. Next, add the calamansi juice. I like adding citrus toward the end because cooking it too early can dull its fresh flavor. Next, add the chopped chilies, but be sure to set some aside for our garnish later. The contrast between cooked and fresh chilies adds both flavor and makes the dish more visually appealing. Finally, add liquid seasoning, about 2 teaspoons or to taste. I've made sisig before without liquid seasoning and it was still good, but the signature sisig flavor just isn't quite there. Adding it is optional, but I highly recommend it. If you don't have a sizzling plate or a cast iron pan, you can skip this step and just add butter or margarine directly to the pan. But for that authentic sisig experience, a sizzling plate is a must. Heat the plate over high flame until it starts to smoke. Then remove it from the heat and add about a tablespoon of butter or margarine. You can adjust the amount depending on how rich you like your sisig. After your butter has melted, transfer the sisig onto the sizzling plate. Spread it out evenly so it sizzles and gets that beautiful aroma and texture. The heat from the plate will give it a slight crisp and make it look and smell absolutely irresistible. Garnish with fresh onions, chilies, and optional crispy fried garlic for extra flavor and crunch, and some calamansi slices for that bright tangy finish. And don't forget, the full ingredient list and costing is at the end of the video. Like all Pinoy dishes, sisig is best paired with a steaming cup of rice. The rice balances the rich, savory flavors and makes every bite extra satisfying. This isn't a traditional take, but I like adding a bit of mayonnaise to my lechon sisig. It adds a creaminess and a slight tang that really brings out the flavors of the pork. It's a personal choice. You can skip the mayonnaise if you prefer. That's why I added it only on my plate, not on the sisig on the pan or the sizzling plate. You can also serve it on the side so that only those who want some can enjoy it. The pork is a little crispy on the edges but still juicy inside. The onions and the garlic give it a sweet aromatic punch. The chilies add a gentle heat and the calamansi brightens everything up. The chicken liver adds that rich, savory depth and the mayo gives it a creamy, tangy balance that really ties the dish together. Honestly, every bite of this lechon sisig is packed with flavor and texture. So, if you've got leftover lechon sitting in the fridge, you definitely should give this a try. It's simple, quick, and absolutely worth it. Here's the full list of ingredients I used along with their approximate cost. You can pause the video or take a screenshot so you can have it for later. If you found this video helpful, please give it a thumbs up, leave a comment down below letting me know what you think about this lechon sisig recipe or how it turned out for you. Subscribe for more easy recipes, and if you're interested in another easy recipe, click the link on your screen right now. Thank you for cooking with me, and I'll see you in the next one.